What is up, everybody? The History Guy here, ready for some more Age of Dreadnoughts. I continue to appreciate all the fantastic advice that I've been getting from all of you, and we're going to continue to do that, and I'm going to continue to learn. And I had several requests from folks who asked me if I would go ahead and show the actual building of the ship. I've been kind of glossing over that, showing you before and then after I build, talking through a few things, but I'm going to spend a little bit of time actually exploring the ship builder a little bit more in depth. I'm not going to cover everything, but I'll cover a little bit more than I usually do, and then we're going to dive into this battle. And what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going up against a pretty significant fleet, but they're older ships. So I'm going up against 2 battleships, 2 heavy cruisers, 3 light cruisers, 4 destroyers, and I have 2 destroyer allies. I'm probably going to go with a smaller number of ships, just based on the amount of money that I have. I could actually get as much as 97 million, but I'm going to go for guns and fire control, get better technology, go for punch and protection. I'm basically going to build a floating tank is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to hope that the game does not crash. I've been playing a couple of different matches on different things, just trying some things, and I've had the game crash on me 3 times in a row now. So I'm hoping that isn't going to be the case here. So we're going to go ahead and explore a little bit what we want to do. Now, one of the things that has thrown me off a bit with all of this is that under components, there's actually more components than what you see here. And one of you pointed that out to me, and I appreciate that. If you scroll down, there's more down here. See all that? There's the rangefinder and the radio, which I think I have played with at least a little bit, but for most of my battles, I have forgotten that was there. And for this particular match, we can go really high on the rangefinder. So let's talk about, first of all, before we get into any of this stuff, we'll talk about the components that are available. Because a lot of you are making suggestions to me that are great suggestions, but are not things I can actually do. For example, some of you say, well, why don't you put, another turret on the front? Well, that's not always possible. Some of you have said things like, well, why don't you put torpedo tubes on the deck? Well, on these dreadnoughts, it's not possible. So if we go with a Dreadnought 3, the difference between that and a Battlecruiser 4, they're basically the same size. There's fairly minor differences, honestly. It looks a little different, and I'm not entirely sure which way I want to go. It looks like the cost is a little less for the Dreadnought 3. Again, with the building, let me show you how this works. For example, if I pick Advanced Tower 5, you can see those mounts there. That's the only place I can put the tower. I can only go from there to right there. So we're really limited on where the tower can go. And so that's why sometimes in order to get more guns, I've gone with smaller towers. But looking here, $4 million for the Advanced Tower 12. Only just a little less than $1 million for the Advanced Tower 5. However, you see the differences. You've got aiming speed is double. Base accuracy is much higher. Long range accuracy significantly higher. Communications range, damage control, smoke interference, torpedo spotting. So with this particular ship, I'm going to go for the most advanced tower. I'm going to try to, I don't necessarily want to center it because I still have to go with a secondary tower as well. Those are both required. And again, same thing. When you pick it, you can see this is all the area I have to build that. It's got to be on those mounts. Again, significant advantages to our aiming ability based on which one you choose, but they're bigger. So if I go, I don't know if I go there, if I'm able to put an additional gun right here or not. We're gonna have, that's one of the things I'm gonna have to play around with a little bit to see. So then of course we have funnels, and again, same thing. Funnels only have certain areas they're able to go, and you can see what the differences are. I'm not too worried about things like smoke and signature, so I'm just gonna go with the cheapest funnel possible. and that can go right there in the middle, and it usually does. Usually you can put it in the middle of your forward tower, your main tower. So then that brings us to barbettes. Now these are actually in reverse order, and it's kind of counterintuitive. The one that's the biggest in the picture is actually the smallest of all the barbettes, even though we have no mount for that one, so that's not even a possibility. But you can see how small that one is. The huge ones are the ones that can hold like the 16-inch guns, which we're not going to have here. But you can see there's only one spot for a barbette mount, and with my front tower where it is, I can't even put it there. So what I actually am probably going to have to do here is move everything back a little bit so that I have the room. But it looks like I might have a barbette right, or a mount there where I can put a gun anyway. So let's take a look. Okay, now we can get that barbette there. So that's, those are the kinds of things you're working with when you're dealing with building these things. Again, going with guns, I can go all the way up to 18-inch guns on this one. And we're just going to look at the accuracy and the reload time, because I'd rather, again, kind of balance speed and ability here. So at 2,500 meters, these are 83% accurate. The 18-inch guns, 91%. So they're more accurate, but they take so much longer to load. They take about twice as long to load. So you really have to make your shots count when you're doing that. And I'm not too worried about that because I'm fighting older ships. So I'd rather get off more shots. And in this case, we're at 72 seconds there. I'm actually going to go ahead and go for 12-inch guns. And again, with 3 barrels, we're at 74% at 2,500 meters. Here we're at 87%. So with 2, I'm much more likely to actually land shots. So we're going to go with 1, 2, and we should... Oh, it overlaps the other one. Darn it. I don't know if by moving this one up, if we're able to move up the other one or not. Because of where that barbette has to go, I'm not sure that it can move up. So here's what we're going to do in this case. We're actually going to just throw this gun down right on the deck and not worry about the barbette. This is where it gets kind of tricky because it does some kind of weird things when you select something. And it looks like I just messed up the funnel. There we go. All right, so back to our guns. We're on 12-inch, 2-barrel. It is going to let me put that one there now. So we just go without the barbette on the front. We can put another one back here on that rear turret. Oh, it won't let me put one there. Darn it. That's all right. We can still get a total of, let's see, 3, 6, 12 of these guns. So that's good. I like that. So now we look at secondary guns. And since we're taking on a pretty big fleet, and there are a lot of smaller ships that we're facing, it's going to be good to have these secondary guns. And again, I'm worried about accuracy, and I'm just looking to see, actually, in this case, the 8-inch are more accurate than anything else. We're going to go ahead and go with the 8-inch. And reload time, about 7 seconds more for 2, so we'll go with 2. Let's see where we can put these guys. Oh, there's not a lot of places. I can put one there. And that's probably going to be it, unfortunately. But I can put a bunch of casemate guns, and that'll be where we can make up some of this difference. So let's go with some 8-inch casemate guns, and we can build a ton of these. So we're going to have a lot of firepower available to us here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 22, or 20, and 24. So 24, and before you think that seems like a lot, my great-grandfather was on the USS Wyoming, which was built like around 1909, 1910. It had 21 5-inch guns, most of which were casemate guns, so it's certainly feasible to do that, and it looks like I'm still going to be able to have 2 of these. Now, we'll see what the weight and the cost does when I start messing with everything else. Now, I am going to go ahead and go with some torpedo launchers. Now, had some comments questioning about that. Pretty much all dreadnoughts were originally fitted with these torpedo launchers. Most of them had two. They had one on each side, and that was about it. Now, when a lot of them were refit, like in the 1920s, they removed those because they realized they were kind of impractical and didn't make a lot of sense with a long-range, big-gun ship to have to get closer. But torpedoes did have a range during World War I of up to 15,000 meters if they were slow enough, is what I've read. So that's certainly something that happened. Now you get into the more advanced battleships built in World War II, they didn't even bother outfitting them with torpedoes. I think the HMS Dreadnought originally had 5 torpedo launchers that were all submerged. So there's that. So now we've basically dealt with all of our main kind of building blocks of this ship. So now what we get into is all of the components, the displacement, the speed, the range, which for a mission like this, we're going to go with very short because that doesn't matter, operational range. Obviously, in campaign, completely different story. Bulkheads I won't mess with for now because that's something I can tweak once I see how all these other numbers shake out. So now we deal with things like our engine horsepower, which you dramatically increase the cost with these different turbines, but you improve acceleration, things like that. I'm not making that a huge priority just yet. Now, armor, definitely a big deal. Regular iron plate armor, you can see kind of the initial stats for that. Now, if we go to a more expensive armor, it costs more, but it's stronger. So we're going to, at least for now, go with Harvey. Now, we're really front heavy right now with this ship, and that's kind of a problem. So I'm probably going to have to maybe tweak some things, but I'm not entirely sure what all I can do to tweak things, except to maybe remove one of these front guns, but I really don't want to do that. It's just the way this thing is built. And I don't know if changing this displacement actually makes it worse. So the longer I make the ship, the better that goes. So I don't know how that's going to work, and I don't know how the ship operates differently if it's front heavy like that. And some of you that are more expert on this than I am can tell me what that means. I'm sure it has to do with maneuverability and even things like what happens if it starts taking on water in the front. It would probably sink a lot faster. We're definitely going to give it the most advanced rangefinder I can come up with, which obviously adds to the weight and the cost, but improves accuracy and aiming speed. Same radio, I'm not entirely sure. Communications, that's really just going to change my... this gives me radar generation 1. That's actually really helpful. So we're going to get that. But that does bring my cost above what I'd be able to do to have 2 ships. So we're probably only looking at having 1 battleship. But I expected that. We're going to go with the most advanced turrets and guns that we can come up with. We'll go with the biggest torpedoes I can have. Fast propulsion on the torpedoes. And we're going to try and protect this thing the best I possibly can. Now that we've already gone past the max on the ship, the main thing I need to worry about now is the weight that I have available to me. But I'm going to try to protect this thing the best I possibly can. And now I'm overweight, so didn't mean to do that. Let's see, I'm maxed out on displacement, but I can gain weight by dropping speed. You can see that freed up about 1,000 tons. So again, now we go back to looking at things here. We can reinforce our bulkhead, which is going to help with fire extinguishing, things like that. I may have to make some more changes there. Definitely going to make a change and go with, oh boy, those shells are expensive. But man, they would be good. And money's not an issue. Money's less of an issue than weight is. So that's fine. Increased torpedo round. Increased shell rounds. Oh, we can get 35%. Let's do that. We can go with super heavy shells. Now that's going to increase the chance of ammo detonation. I'm pretty content to just go with standard shells, I think. But let's definitely protect these barbettes. Oh, that weight. Boy, that killed my weight. we're actually just about maxed out on that now. All right. Honestly, the torpedoes aren't that big a deal. That didn't save me a lot of weight, though. Anti-torpedo, again, wow. Whoa, way, way, way overweight doing that. The anti-torpedo is probably going to have to go. All right, so now the thing I want to look at is armor. And I don't know how much this affects the weight, but we're going to look. So let's see, 43,780. If we add an inch of belt armor, what's that do? That puts me over, just that. But I was super close already. So we're going to have to start sacrificing some things for the sake of weight. There we go. That bought me a lot of weight. So I'm just going to start protecting what I think really needs protected the most. I'm not too worried about these secondary guns, though that doesn't change the weight a whole lot to do that. The turrets, on the other hand, different story. Conning tower, definitely. And you can see it actually adds very little weight. I don't know how high I can go with this armor before it gets completely ridiculous. But we'll start with 15 inches and we'll go from there. This really doesn't add that much to the weight. Now the 4 weight offset is getting worse by the moment there. Now the deck armor is a different story. That was a lot of weight added. So the belt is something we want to protect. Oh boy, that's expensive too. All right, I've got to see what else I might be able to do to save a little bit of weight. And I'm thinking about maybe sacrificing a gun. How much do these things weigh? 983 tons. Wow. Do I sacrifice 2 guns up front? That would actually help balance my weight issues a little bit, but not much, for the sake of armor. I think it's probably worth it. These are the decisions that you wrestle with, though, you know. What about speed? Speed, that saves us a little bit, but that actually hurt the 4 weight offset again. I definitely want to protect my deck a little more, though. Because I'm going to try to stay at a distance. And so plunging fire is what I'm worried about. I'm going to stay as far away from these guys as possible. If I can get far away from his slower ships and then take out the smaller ones when they get close, then I think I might have a chance with 1 battleship. So let me tweak a couple more things, and then we're going to go take this thing into action and see what happens. All right, so I went ahead and added another inch to my deck armor. I've got 5 inches of deck armor. I added another inch to my turret top armor, and I added 0.8 of an inch to my secondaries. So that's what we're going to go with. I'm sure there's a lot more I could do to tweak this, but we've been going for almost 20 minutes talking about all of this. Let's see what she can do. Now, let's hope that in the process we don't crash again. But really, this video was mainly to take a little more in-depth look at the building process, because some of you were asking. So whatever happens in the battle happens. I'm not too worried about that. In fact, this isn't the best build I've ever had with it being so front heavy. Smoke spotted to the northwest, so we're going to start heading that direction. I've got these 2 destroyer screens, but honestly, really not expecting them to last very long. So we're going to speed things up just until we make contact. The only thing I need to do to win this battle is to sink 65%, about 2/3 of his force, and to stay alive. Which I'm not sure how I only sink 2/3 and stay alive unless... there's not really a way to do that, really. Alright, I've got some good rangefinders. I've got radar. I should be able to find this guy pretty fast, I would think. Okay, here we go. I've got things paused just because I saw the shells start coming in, so I figured I'd probably found him. So we're going to slow this bad boy down to about half speed. Actually, no, we'll go full just so we keep moving. But I'm going to stay at distance the best I can. Seems like he has spotted me before I spotted him, which is a little disappointing. But having only one ship makes it a little easier for me to worry about maneuvering. And since most of my batteries are on the rear, I've definitely got to get my rear exposed to him. But that's fine, I want to stay at a distance anyway. Let's get a look and see what's happening out here. He'll probably start sending his smaller ships in at me before long. He landed a 12-inch hit on me and only did 3 damage. So now we've got our big guns exposed to him in the rear. Oh, there go my destroyers on a suicide mission. Tell them to go loose. I guess we'll keep them screening. I'm gonna keep turning away from him. All right, yeah, let's fire on this guy right here that's coming in close. Let's try to take out his smaller ships first. Now that I know what kind of damage I can do to smaller ships. Like that! Oh, nice hit. Right away. Let's see what else happens here. Those are gonna miss. Firing a little ahead of him right now. Part of that is because of the angle he's at, I think. Oh, there's a nice shot, though. Doesn't take much. So far, this is working. It's going to take a lot longer to win the battle this way, but that's okay. That's how you keep one ship alive. Oh, who are we firing on now? We're not firing on that guy anymore. Oh, yeah, we are. He's just further away. No, we're firing on a different one now. Where is that? Yeah, I guess that is the one. He's about 9 kilometers out. I'm pretty content to stay at that distance if I can land hits. We'll go ahead and speed things up a little bit. I don't like that my destroyers are up there. One of my destroyers just took a major hit from his battleship. But they're keeping him occupied, I guess. I probably should have kept him close, though. How are we going on these hits? Let's get over there and get a look. That's his battleship. This is the guy I'm after right now. He's coming at me again. Pretty fast, so from a distance, maybe not the best target. There we go. Come on, land one. Oh, All right, we're gonna come at this guy. He's coming in. Looks like he's a little slower, and he's coming straight at me. I do need to keep an eye out on how much I have as far as my shells go. I don't have unlimited ammo. I can't just keep firing at these guys forever. At some point I may need to get a little closer if I'm just wasting this much ammo. I'm going to go ahead and start turning that direction. I'll speed things up until I do. Battleships just hit. My one destroyer sank. Yep, the other one's not far behind. I should have kept him closer. Actually, the other guy still is close, so let's get him down by me. Ah, too late. Well, that was a nice thought. All his ships out of my range except for his battleships now? I guess so. Now that my destroyer sank, I lost sight of the other ones. What's this thing got? 1, 2, 3, like six 12-inch guns. But he's actually getting low on ammo. He'll run out of ammo before I do. When he runs out of 12-inch shells, then we'll start charging in Leroy Jenkins style. We'll take out his big ships first, or his small ships first, because he won't have anything to hit me with. Oh, one of my destroyers must have nailed one of those guys with a torpedo. Yep. I'm big and I'm slow, but I am going to be hard to take down. Now here's one of his cruisers. Let's start shooting him. Actually, let's get this one here. How am I doing on ammo? I'm not exactly rolling in it. I'm gonna be down to my 8-inch guns before too long. Battleships got left. It's still got 129. They can only fire 6 at a time, so they've got a lot of salvos left in them. Hey, there's a nice hit. Took out one of his main guns on that light cruiser. They're all bunched up in weird formations right now. The AI kind of doesn't know what in the world he's doing. Man, I'm just worried I'm going to run out of ammo before I can actually take anybody out. It's a bad thing about having only one gun, or one ship. There's a nice hit on a light cruiser. I've actually taken out, I've been inflicted a lot of damage on his battleship. One of them. Doesn't help these two guys are like parked on top of each other. If I miss one, I might hit the other. Alright, let's get back to my ship, what I'm doing here. We're starting to sail toward him because I just don't want to run out of ammo. And I feel like I'm still pretty well protected. I did take a shot to my main tower, which kind of sucks, and that might be hurting my ability to target him. You can see here on the left the hit chance, and all the different buffs and technology things that are happening there. And we just crashed. I was afraid that might happen. So, alright, unfortunately it crashed. It's been doing that a lot today, and I'm not entirely sure why, but this is an alpha game. It's an early release. We're going to have crashes. It's unfortunate, but it's the reality. But it just sucks for you, the viewer. We don't get to see how that turns out. But yeah, it wasn't my best ship, but I mostly wanted to show you how all the everything works with the ship building process and what some of the limitations are, so you understand a little better what it is that we're dealing with. So as always, leave your comments. I've already learned so much. Very soon, I'm probably going to get into starting to toy with trying to build historic warships. Now, it's going to be tough because you're so limited on things like the nation and things like specifics. I tried earlier to build my great-grandfather's ship, the Wyoming, and it was kind of tricky because the Wyoming had a unique setup. They had 12-inch guns, and what they had was they had two dual turrets on the front, one on a barbette and one in front of it. And then they had 4 on the rear, 2 on barbettes and 2 in front of those. So it was a unique build, and I haven't been able to find a way to recreate that yet. I can put 4 on the rear and 2 on the front, but I can't do 2 barbettes on the rear. So little things like that are making it challenging, and plus I could make the Wyoming, but it might be on a Japanese hull, for example, so you can't really choose that. So as always, let me know your thoughts, and thank you guys so much for being so excited about this game like I am, and I will probably come back with another video in the next day or so. Thanks for watching.